Alright, quick update on GALA games. So, since our last video, we were obviously calling for this 48% drop to the downside. You know, actually, we had a bigger prediction all the way back here. Since 9 cent, we were literally calling for a macro drop down to 2 cent. This is where I personally believe GALA is probably coming down to before it finds its bear market low. This might be the bear market low. We might come down to 1 cent, but I think 2 cent is more likely. Bear in mind, this was a 77% drop we were predicting, and we're currently down about 37.5. What are we witnessing at this moment in time? We're basically in a crab market. Like, you know, a lot of the altcoins, they were having very, very nice bounces in the past couple of days. But GALA Games has basically been crabbing, and what I mean by that is we're literally chopping sideways. We're really not doing too much, and why this is so dangerous to crab to the side at this moment in time is the exact reason why it was dangerous to crab to the side at this moment in time. We've been moving to the downside for a very long period in time, and subsequently the moving averages are really, really pulling to the downside. So when we go sideways, all it means is that the moving averages are catching back up to us. Like when we were going sideways here, it allowed us to keep crashing into the 13 EMA, we break lower, the moving averages come lower, we crab lower, moving averages come down with us, and then eventually we get ready for that next breakdown to the downside before we once again start crabbing. And what we're doing right now, we're scuttling to the side just like a crab, and you know, with the moving averages are moving down very, very quickly. So I really do think we're in for a tiny bit more chop and then another leg to the downside. This is on the daily time frame, but what you'll notice on the weekly is the bounce is non-existent. I mean, this is what we're witnessing right now. You've got a massive doji candle playing out right now. Doji candle after doji candle. Not really a good sign. It shows indecision in the market. And in my opinion, as we are breaking down into this doji candle, you know, a lot of people might say this is indecision for a move back down to the downside. But we're showing indecision while we're literally kind of sitting in these moving averages, which is not a good idea, not a good sign in my opinion. Momentum is very clearly to the downside. The squeeze bomb in the past week has started to kind of take a break. It looks like we're moving back up in favor of the bulls, but I don't necessarily think that's going to be playing out because volume is predictive of price. And right now at this moment in time, you can see that the volume is exponentially growing to the upside. Even in the week that we're seeing right now, we've got 424 million GALA sold and traded over on KuCoin. So you know, it's really, really black and white in my opinion that we are gearing up for that next leg to the downside. Maybe it won't happen today, maybe it won't happen tomorrow, but what I'm thinking is coming into next week when the stock market opens on Monday, I think it's going to continue to move down, and we're going to see this bleed out effect on the daily time frame as well. You can see squeeze mom very, very clearly heading down. I think we're getting ready for that last rejection. We've broke down, got rejected from the 786 multiple times, and all we're doing right now in the entire market structure is making lower high after lower high, lower low after lower low. And if we are to continue with this trend, then we probably should chop back down to the downside to make another lower low very, very soon. Why that's worrying is because we would be capitulating back below these lows. We've made a double bottom here so far, and if we do slide below this, you're going to see very, very quickly a trickle effect, and then it's going to bleed into a massive flood of fear pushing us back down to these lower prices. So at this moment in time, the next level you can expect to bounce from is 3.8 cent. This is still a 31% drop to the downside. I'm going to keep this on my screen just until this 48% drop that we were predicting pans out, and then we'll remove it and we'll focus on this macro move, which once again, I do think GALA's probably coming down to 2 cents before the bear market low is in. I really don't feel the need to dive into all the lower time frames and, you know, give an extensive update. I would just like to quickly say, you know, we keep on having these moves back to the upside on the 4-hourly time frame, and it always correlates to what I call bunny hills, which is where, you know, you move up on the 4-hourly time frame, you come into the EMA ribbons, and every single time you do this, you start to roll back to the downside. And you know, we've quite recently had another one of these bunny hills where we've run out of momentum, and we're currently struggling to get above the EMA ribbons on the 4-hour. It's very, very clear the market structure. 4-hourly EMA ribbons has been such a perfect indicator. I mean, since 26 cent, we only temporarily flipped above it twice, you know, once here and once here, and they were both very, very short-lived fake outs. And as I always say on my channel, once again, a failed move equals a fast move in the opposite direction. At this moment in time, we haven't had the failed move. We haven't broken above, you know, the EMA ribbons, but you can see we are getting rejected from the 13 EMA. We're getting rejected from the 13 EMA, and because we're moving down after these rejections time after time after time, it's just going to keep meaning the EMA ribbons, whether you're looking at the 4 hourly, the daily, and more importantly looking at the 13 EMA, which is my my personal favorite short-term moving average. I think this is very, very black and white. It's pretty much useless when you're traveling sideways, but when you travel sideways for a short period of time after having a big breakdown, it's normally a sign when you crab into it, when you get rejected multiple times, you're getting ready for that next leg to the downside. So I have to say, unfortunately, GALA Games looks like it's getting ready for that next leg down. Looking at GALA against Bitcoin, weekly time frame, you know, we didn't even bounce against Bitcoin with the other altcoins. We're really losing momentum. Yes, we did break out of this this downtrending level of resistance. If you do watch my channel and you're a veteran, you know that I'm really not a fan of trend lines. I much prefer Fibonacci's and moving averages, and with that being said, you know, we are miles below the 786 Fibonacci, and even if we hop over to the Heikonashis, you can really see, you know, this is what a lot of people are getting out of bed for. So I think the trend is very, very clear. I would like to give you a slight extensive insight of what is going on in the entire markets, because I don't think you'll be able to get the full picture on what is going on with GALA by just looking at GALA USD. And subsequently, we should look at some other charts. Bitcoin looks like it wants to break below its all-time high. The total crypto market cap looks like it wants to come down to the 300 week. Altcoin market cap, 300 week. The dollar is very, very strong, and the dollar is inversely correlated to Bitcoin and crypto, meaning that if the dollar keeps on moving up, then the stock market is going to continue to head down. When the stock market is heading down, it means Bitcoin's probably going to break below its all-time high. If Bitcoin breaks back below its previous all-time high, you're going to see the total crypto market cap and the altcoin market cap massively, massively capitulate. And while we're seeing this capitulation, we should expect, or at least I'm expecting, this is my trading plan, for GALA against Bitcoin and GALA against the US dollar to continue with its descent and take one last macro leg to the downside before the bottom is in. That's all I've got for GALA. I hope you enjoyed today's video. As always, Cowboy out. Peace.